welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I am going to be talking a little bit more about the comparison between the HTVRONT D2 and D1 DTF printers. Now, I've already done a video that compared the difference in size and setup and all of that. This is a little bit more of a practical video since I've had time to use the HTVRONT D2 DTF printer. Now, let me give you my disclaimer. I love the D1 DTF printer. I love it. I have no problems with it. I have not had any problems with it at all, and I have definitely taken the D2 through its paces. But I'm going to show you a few things that I've noticed since I've had a chance to use both printers, and hopefully you will find this helpful. Now, if you do, at the end, do the things, like and hype and like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, there's my dog. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, I will say that one of the differences right off the bat is that the Lockleek or the HTVRONT D1 DTF printer comes with its own set of ink and powder, and it's not interchangeable with the D2 DTF printer. So this is the one that came with the D2 DTF printer. This is the one that came with the D1. The colors pretty much look exactly the same, but we'll look at that a little bit more as we go into the software and print our image. So all of the ink and powder, I keep them separated. All of the D1 materials are in one container and all of the D2 materials are in a separate container. This container right here is what I use for the D2 DTF printer, and all of my powder for the D1 is in a container at the bottom. You'll see that later in the video. All right, now let's go into the user interface. It's important that we take a look at the software because that is really the main difference. The image that we're going to be using is, let me get it. I found this super cute stained glass butterfly on the Creative Fabrica website. I add a little bit of text to it and I printed it. I'm going to print it really big so we can see the colors and how they work with both printers. Before we go into the software, I also want to note that in terms of the maintenance, because that's going to be a big deal, the D1 DTF printer has to be powered on at all times. I keep mine powered on at all times. I'm sure you can hear it, and I don't turn it off for any reason. That way I know that it's going to go through the self-cleaning, the white ink stirring is going to happen. With the D2 DTF printer, I don't have to keep it powered on, and I can schedule the self-cleaning. When I turn this off, as long as it's plugged in, it will do a self-cleaning all by itself, and that's amazing. Also, in order to check my nozzles for the D1, I have to be connected to my computer, my laptop, and I have to, run the check and all of that. With the D2, I can just click a button right here and I can do a nozzle check from here. I don't need to be connected to my computer at all. I can just touch a button here and do a nozzle check, and there's a difference. All right, so now let's do a quick recap of the software interface because the D1 DTF printer does use the BetterPrinter software and the RIIN software, whereas the D2 DTF printer only uses the Lockleek Idea Studio, and there's no dongle or anything. It's just one user interface. We'll look at those and then we'll get ready to print and we'll come back. This is what the RIIN interface looks like. This is where you would import your image and do all the things you want to do. Now, I never did any designing here, but this software is much more robust than the Lockleek Idea Studio. So one of the things this has that Lockleek doesn't is the ability to change or modify the colors. And this is way beyond my scope of knowledge, so I made sure to not make any changes here because I did not understand any of this. This is for someone who has more software experience than I do. What I'm going to do, though, is import the butterfly that I'm using in the RIIN software as well as the butterfly that I'm going to use in the Idea Studio software. I'm resizing it to 10.53 in both of the software choices, so we'll be comparing apples to apples. Now, I did make a mistake, but you'll see that I'm going to resize it to 10.53, and I'm measuring in inches. Now, I do want to carefully just quickly go and look at the BetterPrinter software and show you one of the settings that I changed, because I found out about feathering in the Idea Studio software. But the BetterPrinter software is, the other software that you need when you're using the D1 printer. And right here, where it says eclosion enable and the percent, I changed mine to 85%. I didn't go to 100, but I just wanted to try this out. And I think I like the white setting better here. I'm going to go ahead and click print. Now, I did do a software tutorial about how to use the RIIN software, how to change the size of the canvas settings and all of that. I'll make sure it is linked below this video. We're going to get this printed out and see how long it takes. When the timer stopped, it was at 2 minutes and 59 seconds. So right at 3 minutes. And remember, the size of this image is 10.53 inches by 10.53. I think the colors are nice and vibrant. The white looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and apply the powder and get this in the oven. So my back is to you and the pan is partially covered, but I use this pan for the D1 DTF powder, and now I'm going to place it in the oven and get it cured. Now let's look at the software interface for the HTVRONT D2 DTF printer. If I go up here to the settings, I can change the theme. I can go to a light theme or dark theme just by clicking on the settings under my name. And I like to keep mine on the dark theme. I like to keep the units in inches and the language on English, of course. And then also you can monitor your maintenance settings here. I'm going to show you how to get to that now. Once I click on the little icon next to the printer, it opens a whole new menu for me. I can see the general settings. I can decide if I want the film feeding, the printing direction to go, from the left only, the right only, or go in both directions. I can also click on the maintenance options and set the intervals for cleaning every hour, every 4 hours, every 8 hours, whatever. And I can also do machine calibration here. So this is just the back end stuff. So you can see that, and it looks a little bit different from the RIIN software and the BetterPrinter software. Now, when we look at the main interface, to me, this is pretty much like a lot of other softwares that I'm used to as a crafter. It's not a lot of fancy terminology. It's very user-friendly in my opinion. I'm going to get the butterfly uploaded. I uploaded it without a background, and I'm going to resize it to the 10.53 so it matches the one that we had in the other software, the RIIN software. I'm going to go ahead and click make. And in terms of the settings, I like to go with high quality. I'd make sure to mirror horizontally. And then I usually select object area fill. I don't make any other changes here, but you can see for the feathering, it's on 100%, whereas in the other software, I had mine on 85%. I don't make any other changes. I'm going to click start. Now, in terms of the printing options here, this is my second print. So that's why it's the second in the list. I'm going to click send, and we'll see how long this is going to take to print. I think that this one is going to take longer because of the feathering, and you'll see that once we get to the printer. In case you didn't see that, it was like right at 7 minutes and 48 seconds. And I'm assuming it's because of the feathering, but you can see how white the ink is on the back. But look at how beautiful the image is on the front. So there you can also see that this one has a little bit of a border. I'm going to apply the powder the same way I did with the other one, and we'll get this placed in the oven. I'm applying the powder. You can see I'm using a different container because this container only has the HTVRONT D2 DTF powder inside. The other powder was in that aluminum pan, but I'm making sure that I'm rolling the powder back and forth across the image, and I'm going to shake away the excess powder. Any powder that falls back into the container can be used with my next image. Okay, so this is what the back looks like. I'll get it placed in the oven, and we will compare the two images after they've been cured. For the rest of the video, the D1 DTF print will be on the left side of the screen, and the D2 DTF print will be on the right. So we're looking at what the images look like after they've both been cured in the oven. When you look at the D1 image, you can see that the white ink is covered for the most part. I see a few areas where it's like not really filled in, and I'm not sure how it's going to impact the image. I don't think it's going to impact the shirt when I press it, but let's look at how vibrant the color is. I think the color is I think it's phenomenal. I know I've said I love the D1. Hopefully you can really see how much I love the D1. Let's look at the back of the D2, and let's also look at the front of the D2. Okay, you see it's the same size, but this is fully covered in white ink. And when you look at the front of the image, you can see the colors are nice and vibrant. But like I said, you can also see that there's a little bit of a border around the butterfly. I don't think I noticed that at first, but I noticed it once I was back at my table and I had the two images side by side. So there's a very, very tiny border, and I think it's because of that feathering. And it looks like the colors in the D1 are actually more vibrant than they are in the D2. I don't know if you can see that, but that red is very bright. The blues and the purples, the yellows, they all look very, very vibrant. Let's see if it makes a difference once they are pressed. I have two identical shirts. These are both Gildan heavy cotton shirts. I just purchased them locally from Michael's. I wanted them to be the exact same in size and all of the things. Okay, so I'm just removing any of my little lint, and we are going to get these images pressed. I'm at the heat press. I'm going to remove that tag. The heat press is set for 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds. I always start with a pre-press, and I have my shirt folded in half. I'm going to pre-press this probably a lot longer than I need to, but I was just also grabbing my other shirt. Also removing the tag, and I'm going to do a quick pre-press. All right, let's press the D1 first. Well, remember, we'll know the D1 because it doesn't have a border around it, so that actually helps us a lot. I should have cut that extra film away, but it's perfectly fine. I'm just going to look for the center of my shirt, and I'm going to press this for 15 seconds on 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, when it finishes, I'm going to remove it from the press, and I'm going to let it cool off. Now, remember, with DTF, it's a two-press process, and you want to let it cool down first. All right, so now I'm going to press the D2 using that same process. If you know that I'm always going to be having on my headphones while I'm working, and today was no different. All right, let's get this one pressed. This is the D2 image. I'm doing the same exact time. 325 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 seconds. Pinned the sticky notes to the inside of the collar so we can remember which shirt is which and which transfer is which. The D1, like I said, is on the left, and the D2 is on the right. I'm still letting this cool down completely before I peel the transfer away. Both of them have completely cooled. Let's start with the D1. And this is how it looks after being pressed one time. I can see a little bit of a wrinkle right there. But this is just, the first press and peel. It looks very, very nice and vibrant. Remember, DTF is a 2-press process. You can see the colors are nice and vibrant. Let's look at the D2 and see how it's different. All right, I'm going to go ahead and peel it slowly. Just start in a corner, doesn't matter which corner, and peel it back. You can peel it fast or slow. It really doesn't matter. And as long as you start in a corner. So I'm going to pull it back. Look at that. OMG. I can see a little bit of powder right there in the middle. Hopefully that will wash away. But I think this is absolutely gorgeous. Now I'm going to press it one more time with parchment paper on top, and we'll see the finished results. We're back at the heat press, starting with the D1. I'm just going to add a piece of parchment paper right on top, and I am going to press it for that same amount of time, 325 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 seconds. Once that finishes, I'm not even going to show you. I'll show you once we get back to the table, and we can make a decision on which one we think is our favorite. Here is the D1 after that second press. I am going to do the thing by pulling and stretching that, no one really ever does. But I think this is beautiful. I think the colors are nice and vibrant. If you're wondering, what does it feel like? It feels like there's an image on top. And here is the D2. This is the one, remember, it had that outline around it. Let me pull it and stretch it. I think it looks fantastic. I don't think one of them looks better than the other. I think I think they both look good. I think the colors on the D1 are very, very vibrant, a little darker than the D2. I'm not sure why, but I just love both. Hopefully this video helped you, cleared up any confusion or any questions you may have had about this. If you did find this video helpful, please remember to do the things. Like the video, hype the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications, because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.